Hey, everybody.
Hello.
What are we here to review this time?
Samurai, I was supposed to say Jack, Cup.
Samurai Jack, yeah. No, that would have been a far better review.
Yes.
And a far better use of our time than this.
Yes.
Than this giant waste of our time.
Lighting was bad.
Oh, man.
Dubbing was bad. And by dubbing, I mean, like, them actually lining up the voices with what they were saying.
No, it was accurate. Dubbing was bad. They apparently only had one guy that dubbed the entire film.
That didn't really need to be in there, but, like, it really just...
Oh, you mean all the pointless sex to the second pointless sex?
Yeah.
It made you feel like you're watching an old Cinemax film?
Yeah.
Alright.
Soundtrack. But you know I liked it.
Yeah, because it's so bad it's good. It's one of the top 5 it's so bad it's good films. Up there with The Room.
Oh, with The Room.
Oh, man.
I'm going to start on that.
Troll 2.
I haven't seen...
You haven't seen Troll 2?
No.
Oh, yeah, we should review that then. It's bad. But it's good bad.
Okay.
It's just bad. But good bad. But that one, I would say I actually had far more fun with this than Troll 2. Troll 2 is a bit of a slag at some point. I'm sure about the halfway point of watching Troll 2, you now have to hit pause, take a break for a bit, and come back to it.
Okay.
You'll understand when you watch it.
Okay.
But this film, it was entertaining all the way through.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't let up on its entertainment value. Like, The Room and Troll 2, like, people consider, like, that the number 1 and number 2 of so bad it's good of all time, but this is a far more entertaining version.
Yeah.
Because The Room can get quite boring at times, and as can Troll 2. Whereas this is just entertaining all the way through.
Yeah.
It's like, they just don't let up. It's yeah, sure, the acting is bad, the dialoguing is bad, the overdubbing is horrible. Like, they didn't have a competent editor, they didn't understand lighting. Whoever scored the film barely could score and didn't understand highs and lows and maybe where you should put, like, breaking sound. Yeah. Or sound to help emphasize the shocking scene, or maybe put a shocking sound in the middle of somebody's dramatic speech. May not always be necessarily the best idea.
No.
But it is what it is.
Favorite part
in that? Oh man, how about why don't you do our fans a favor and describe the plot of Samurai Cop?
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. Can you try?
So there's a couple cops. One happens to be a samurai. The other guy happens to not be a samurai. There's some Asian mobsters.
And the guy who happens to be a samurai is one of the whitest guys we've seen. And we're told he speaks fluent Japanese, but not once during the entire film do they show us he can.
Now, which samurai are we talking about here? Because there's also the bad guy samurai.
Oh, I'm talking about the namesake of the movie,
speak.
Samurai Cop.
Okay, fair. So yeah, it's just a couple detectives. One happens to be a samurai taking on a group of mobsters that go by the name of Katana. One of them happens to be also a samurai of the bad guys. And your typical mob boss guy, even though like his second in command is way more powerful and has more authority than he does. But yet, the other guy's in charge for some reason.
Now, what ethnicity are the mobsters supposed to be?
They're supposed to be Asian.
Okay, can you be a little bit more specific?
Japanese, I believe?
Yeah.
They,
even though...
I think the main guy was Mexican, maybe? Or...
I was gonna make a similar comment. Although the main boss is supposed to be Asian.
I think he was, though.
I think he was, too, but it was like... you're not the only one who's made that joke. Is he Mexican? Because they don't help their situation either.
Oh no!
Because they're basically supposed to be. They're supposed to be a Japanese mafia, or a or they're supposed to be like a low rank yakuza.
Yeah.
But they don't say yakuza. They say mafia because most North American people won't understand what yakuza means. It's just Japanese mafia.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be Japanese. However, they're more generic Asian because when they're having that conversation at the beginning, the uncle and the nephew who runs the organization, they talk about how they're trying to get in good with the Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and they name one more Asian group. And I'm sitting here going, okay, then what are you? Because if you're not Japanese, Chinese, Korean, I forget what the fourth one was, but they mentioned the fourth one.
Right.
But I'm like, if you're not any one of those, what are you supposed to be? Because you're supposed to be Japanese.
Yeah.
Then why are you trying to get in good graces with the Japanese
Because
mafia?
they're their own.
Because they're a separate branch?
Yeah.
I'm like, so we'll just refer to them as the generic Asian mafia.
Yeah.
Because even though they're supposed to be Japanese, they didn't realize they were Japanese.
There's like 2 Japanese guys in the whole clan.
I know, because I'm like,
Americans.
they randomly grabbed a bunch of Asian American actors and told them, you're all Japanese, even though I'd be surprised if a single one of them was actually Japanese.
Yeah.
And as we said with the main guy, it's like, is he even Asian?
Probably not. But might be. So it's an interesting plot. I guess.
Yeah, we had a lot of, stereotypical plot movie motifs. I mean, cop movie motifs. You had the badass renegade cop. You had his cool black partner.
Quirky.
You had the stereotypical 1980s, early 90s horny female cop. And then you had a bunch of, who of course gets naked and has sex in the film, because of course she would, because this is a film product of its time. And then any other actress that's in this film practically gets naked and has a sex scene at some point, or at least gets naked at some point, or shows some kind of nudity, because once again, it's a film of its era.
Yep.
You seriously think that's an accurate
think that's accurate.
I think there's
Everyone
legitimately
in the
maybe
females.
one actress in the entire film that doesn't get naked, and I think it's the nurse who he's trying to hit on.
You're right.
And that she says he has a small package and takes off.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, do you want to have sex? Oh, your package is too small for me. Goodbye.
Yeah, it was like
It's
that
like, wait,
that character. It's like, I think she's the only female character in the entire film that doesn't get
And she
nude or
seemed
have
like the one
sex.
who had the least dignity to begin with.
I
but
know.
she had the most.
I know. I thought, like, for sure, if all the characters in the film to get naked and have sex, it would have been her
right.
character. But no.
Nope.
Apparently, she had the most dignity, which just goes to show you can't judge a book by its cover.
That is true. Or the way it speaks.
Or the way it speaks. I know. I'm like, sweetie, you sound like the worst white trash hillbilly ever. How the heck did you ever become a nurse?
School.
Yes, school is the technical answer. School.
See, my favorite scene is when, near the end, when he's about to finish the guy off, and his partner goes, "No, wait, you're a cop," and he kind of goes, "Oh yeah," and then walks away.
It didn't stop me from callously murdering everybody else in the film.
Yeah.
But my partner, right at the end, reminding me I'm a cop, makes me go, "Oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't kill this one person
This one
because
guy.
every other person in this film that I was supposed to arrest and bring in, I've killed." And my police chief has reminded me of that on countless occasions. But you reminding me I'm a cop in this one instance makes me go, "Oh yeah, I am. All right, I guess I shouldn't kill this guy," and walk away. However, I won't let my partner stop the
him.
guy from killing himself
Oh, yeah.
in a sacrificial death because, no, wait, he's samurai.
We have to allow this. No,
For his honor. I'm like, what honor? He's a low rent dirtbag. It's like,
Yeah.
he's a criminal. It's like, he has no honor. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But no, we just need him to kill himself. So we can't bring a single one of these guys in alive. So our police chief is guaranteed to lose his job.
And if we didn't kill that one, we won't get blamed for the others, right?
But what I love is, like, the police chief made it adamantly clear, like, I'm gonna lose my job because of you guys. And, like, it's like, okay, let's at least bring in one of the main guys alive at the end.
Yeah.
We have the chance to do this. It's like, now we're gonna just let him kill himself. Screw our police chief. Screw his job. Screw his
Openly
pension.
stated, go kill every one of them.
But that's when he finally snapped and he couldn't care anymore.
it's like,
because
okay.
he knows he couldn't control them. He's like, yeah, you're just gonna kill them anyways, whatever.
Yeah. It's like, I've already lost.
I've already lost my job.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all in all, not bad. I definitely recommend seeing it.
Oh,
haven't.
I recommend anybody at least checking it out for the sake of checking it out.
Yeah.
Because it honestly is one of those movies. It's so bad, it's good.
It's
And it's quite entertaining all the way through. It doesn't drag. Like a lot of those other so-called so bad it's good movies can get boring and drag at times. This
Yeah.
one doesn't. This one keeps you entertained all the way through, because it finds a way just to keep you that much more interested in it. You know what I mean? It's like, we know this is bad, but at least we're going to make it entertaining for you.
Here's some scenes.
Here's some
Gratuitous.
scenes. They may not make any sense, but if we put a bunch of scenes randomly together in a somewhat linear order, it's going to look like a film.
Yes.
That's pretty much how you describe
Hey,
this movie.
that's that, and they did make a film.
They technically did make a film.
Yes.
A film
No
which
result
with
at the
you know,
end.
poor lighting, poor editing, poor directing, bad writing,
So-
cheesy acting, horrible cinematography. The lighting guy should have been fired. Heck, I believe they probably didn't hire a lighting guy. That might have been the issue.
Probably, yeah. So things didn't get resolved. So police chief probably got fired.
Yep.
And went to jail for telling his 2 lieutenants to go on a murdering spree.
Yep. Yep.
The 2 officers probably went to jail for going on a murdering spree.
Yep. Yep.
What else? Didn't get really
Oh, we didn't get
resolved.
resolution on horny female cop.
Oh, she's fine.
Oh yeah.
Oh!
You know,
Right, I forgot about
you
that
forgot
scene.
about that scene, huh?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like, because spoiler alert, like anybody's
Went
really
to
gonna
the
care.
hospital
She
and-
definitely had the. Oh, I was gonna say, because they torture her at some point, the
Yeah.
bad guys, by dumping hot grease on her private area,
Mm-hmm.
and like, that's something that's going to be needed to be treated.
Yeah.
So if it's not treated, she's probably going to get an infection and die.
So
So
They
we
don't
don't
die.
really know. Maybe died. Maybe went to the hospital. Maybe she's
They
fine.
did not
But
resolve that.
they did not even
that was
remotely.
like a while back.
At
in
least
the
with the other cop, you know, he and his wife are dead, or he and his girlfriend are dead, because you get a resolution like
Yeah.
the bad guys killed him,
Yeah.
and his stereotypical black cop partner gets away. So there's resolution there. We know what happens to him. The only one they don't touch on is what happened to the female cop, and what happened to the police chief at the end. It's like, we don't need to go there. You can make it up in your mind as you go. It can be a choose your own adventure how you want this
They
film
all
to
went
end.
jail. That's what I choose.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, the female cop's probably dead, and everybody else probably went to jail.
And that last scene was just him remembering a different thing. Like a
Oh, I know.
moment in
It's
the film.
they were so cheap. Okay, so there's basically this romance scene before the sex, one of the multiple sex scenes during the film, where the protagonist is making out with the head generic Asian mob boss's so-called girlfriend.
So
So they're making out on the sand on a rock, but they cut that scene in half and only show half of it before the gratuitous sex scene, but then keep the second half of that makeout scene for the last scene in the film. So when they cut back to it, you realize, oh, this is just additional footage from that one sequence halfway through the film. You're just doing that, using now to pad the runtime and run us to the credit scene.
yeah,
That's it.
no resolve. And
There's
they went
no
back
resolve.
to reshoots too.
Oh, that's horrible. That's what makes it even worse, because they clearly went back and did reshoots.
But they didn't
But they didn't
resolve-
fix any of their problems or resolve any of the plot holes. They just went back and reshot fight scenes because they didn't think they were entertaining enough. I'm like, okay, true, fine, good. I'm glad
At
you
least
realized
they did
that. But maybe, finishing a character storyline,
Yeah.
filling in a plot hole, resolving things you have left
They
unresolved.
did other scenes in the movie where they took the time to state why they did something. Like when they killed the 2 cops. The one guy takes the time and he's like,
Oh
you
my,
know
I know.
stance. She wasn't supposed to be here. We had to kill her."
They literally explain when they go to kill
Instead of
the,
just
the old
killing her.
the old cop and his girlfriend's there. They literally explain away why they had to kill her, because they're like, well, she doesn't really live with them, but she was over visiting. We had to kill her because she was here. I'm like, A, how do you know any of that? B, we didn't need an explanation for this. You just randomly walked into the cop's house. She could have been his wife, his girlfriend, clearly a partner of some kind.
Yep.
We didn't need an explanation on this. You just
No.
killed him and left, right?
Right, but
I'm
they'll
like, out of
explain
all
things
this,
they don't need to.
that's exactly it.
But
Of
the
all the
things
things
they
to
should.
explain, They don't need to do that, but the things they should explain, as you said, as I've said, they leave wide open.
Wide open, yeah.
And then we get some very memorable lines in this one, like when they're in, like the mafia characters are beating up the black cop and trying to interrogate him for information.
Yeah.
And then they try to threaten him by cutting off his penis, and they grab a hold of his. Of course, you can't see anything; it's all blow belt.
Yeah.
But they imply they grab a hold of his penis, and the one villain is like, "I'm gonna cut off this gift, this black gift." And like, yeah, we get it. He's African American. He's black. He has a huge schlong. Like it's so childish.
And then the other guy pulls the towel off.
Oh, I know, and looks
and
at his ass.
Checks at his ass.
I'm like,
but then the camera pans down a bit, and you actually see he's wearing boxers, so he's not. He's not actually naked even.
I know.
So
it's like
what?
So he's not really naked. They imply he's naked, but like 2 seconds later, the camera goes too low, and you see he's actually wearing boxers. So it's
and
like
then there's the wig coming off.
oh, and the reshoot. So the lead actor, the protagonist, had long hair for this film, but after this film ended, he cut his hair because he went to do another project. And when they had to call him back for reshoots, clearly he has short hair, so they stuck an awful it's fake wig on him for the reshoot scene.
Yeah.
But in one of the fight scenes during the reshoots, the guy grabs onto his wig, because I guess he was meant to grab onto his hair, and you literally see the wig come back and the elastic snap it back on his head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's just bad. Like, you would have been like, okay, guys, stop. Reset, let's reshoot. Don't grab don't grab his hair that hard, or don't grab there, kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But instead they're like, nah, it's good enough, leave it in.
Yeah, right? Leave it in. He could have easily reshot that. Also, another funny...
Which makes it even worse because it was a reshoot to begin
with. Are you sure about this one? Are you sure about this this job, this case, this whatever the partner says to the main guy? And the main guy turns and goes, yeah, cocaine.
Oh. Okay, so it was like one of the very first scenes in the film. He was like, the one partner was asking, "Alright, cop, like, are you confident in this bust? Like, are we gonna be able to close this case? Is your information solid?" Kind of thing, asking legitimate questions before going into a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And Samurai Cop's response is, "Yeah, cocaine." And I'm like, that's great, but can you answer any of the questions I just asked you?
He's just standing there. Question. Yeah, cocaine. Yes, we understand.
Okay.
Today, but can you answer these questions?
Cut and print. Moving on to the next scene. And on top of it, they're walking to the car, and Samurai Cop clearly scratches his nuts. And readjusts himself.
No, he was trying to get the keys out of his pocket. He was pushing the keys up in his very tight pants.
Yeah, sure he was. But my point is, clearly we know what was going on there. And instead of just saying, let's reshoot the scene, and hey, can you maybe not grab your crotch in the next shot when we redo this?
Yeah.
Instead of, whatever, it's good enough.
Yeah, it's good.
Because once again, this was a reshoot, because this is one of the scenes where he had the bad wig.
Yeah.
So it's like, on top of it, makes it even worse because it's already a reshoot.
Yeah.
Alright, anything else you want to add to this disaster of a movie?
No, go check it out. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, so go give it a watch. Like, share, subscribe, and all that jazz. Remember, the film you're looking for is Samurai Cop.
Samurai Cop, not Jack.
Yeah, not Samurai Jack. That would have been so much better. So, alright, ladies and gentlemen, and whoever else is watching, alright, have a good one.
Adios.